Hey Podheads, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Starbuck, aka the Prince of Darkness, and today we're going to take a look at Eerie Presents Hunter, the new hardcover from Dark Horse Publishing. So stick around and let's talk comics. Hey Podheads, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me as we talk about Eerie Presents Hunter, the new hardcover collection by Dark Horse Comics. I'm going to go ahead and show this to you guys right up front here. Here is the cover of this very attractive book. We have the spine here. It's about 167 pages, if I remember right. Here's the back. And it is a pretty fun little romp through a very specific time in our nation's history. I'm going to give some overhead shots here in just a minute so you guys can see what the artwork and the interior look like. Most of this book is drawn by Paul Neary. So about 3/4 of the artwork in here is Paul Neary's work. The first couple of Hunter storylines are written by a couple of different writers. We had Rich Margopoulos, Bud Lewis, and Bill Dubay. They wrote the bulk of the first and second Hunter stories. And then towards the end of the series, there were a couple of other artists. We had Bud Lewis working with Moreno Cesares. We had Jim Stenstrom working with Alex Nino. And we had Rich Margopoulos finished up all of the stories with Al Sanchez on art. Altogether, you have to take the time that this book was written into consideration, because this book screams Tarzan meets Buck Rogers during the Cold War. The main storyline starts out after man has already destroyed the face of the planet. Atomic weapons have mutated what's left of the population, and the mutants are called demons, and demons hunt humans, and humans hunt demons. Our character Hunter is a half-breed demon human with a very strong vengeance to kill the demon that sired him. That being said, these books are not for children. There is some very adult subject matter, surprising to me actually for the time that it was written, and definitely the language is not flowery about it at all. So I would definitely not allow your children to read these books. That being said, if everyone's still an adult in the room, this is fun stuff. The first book was something of the first volume in the book was something of an adjustment to get used to, just because the flow of the writing wasn't the same as modern comics that I'm used to, and so you kind of have to train your brain to follow the text bubbles in the right directions. After I kind of got into the rhythm of that, I started really taking little bits of the writing and recognizing how much I enjoyed them. It did take a little bit of time, but by the third or fourth issue, I was having a lot of fun reading it. The thing about these books is that they released one chapter at a time over several different issues of Eerie Magazine. So, for example, Hunter, chapter 1 may be in Eerie number 72, and then in Eerie number 73 you have Hunter volume 1 chapter 2. And for the most part, I would say that the quality is pretty consistent over the first two Hunter stories. They don't mention on the cover that they also do have additional stories after Hunter 1 and 2 that kind of give us an idea of what Hunter 3 and 4 would look like. However, they are not. I didn't dig them as much as I liked the first two stories. Another thing that I noticed is that in these books, I kind of felt like, especially from Hunter 1 to Hunter 2, now I'm not going to spoil anything, but clearly these stories had been some level of success. because we went from Hunter 1 ending very definitively to Hunter 2 going, okay, so clearly they had to make a Hunter 2, but they had to find a way to do it, so this is what they did. That being said, you know, it's a fun story and it's absolutely worth reading. But it is definitely a comic from another time. You can tell the inherent fear of nuclear weapons, of, you know, global holocaust caused by war. All around, it's very telling of the time period. The artwork, though, is one of my favorite things about it. Having not read any of the Warren Publishing magazines before, and clearly nothing else that I'm familiar with that has his work, the Paul Neary artwork in this, I had to sometimes had to stop, like just quit reading it and just enjoy the art. There are also covers in here by Ken Kelly. He did several of the covers of Eerie Magazine, much like the cover of this one, where he has done like these beautiful color portraits of Hunter, which is, as you can see, gives you kind of a I don't know, a Ralph Bakshi kind of like Wizard's view idea feeling when you look at it, but really, the dude's Tarzan. He's like a beast. Wears, you know, like basically like half the frames he's drawn like wearing a loincloth, and the other half he looks like a spaceman. So they were clearly, at least at first, not really sure which direction they wanted to go with this character, but it does, I feel like, make for a fun retro romp. So I hope that you'll take a look at this book. It is only runs, what, 1995? 1995, guys. It's a steal. Definitely check it out. There are other Eerie Presents collections. I recently recognized they have the Rook, and I believe there's also an El Cid collection. So if you guys want me to do overviews, reviews, anything like that about those books, please let me know. I'll go ahead and pick them up. Overall, the book has a quality build. It has a sewn binding that has some glue in there as well. It feels solid and lays flat even on the first page. So I definitely think that quality-wise, it's another good book by Dark Horse Publishing. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you'll go ahead and pow that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications when I make new videos, and like always, please like. All these things help the channel's algorithm. Have a wonderful evening, and remember, when all else fails, take a nap.